Hi, I'm your host, Mark Aaron, and welcome to In Focus by U Multicultural, where we focus on civic issues here in Winnipeg. In the month of February, it's Black History Month. During this month, people in Canada celebrate the many achievements and contributions of Black Canadians and their communities. But yet, we still see human rights get tested to this very day. On May 25th, 2020, a 46-year-old man named George Floyd was arrested by three policemen. 17 minutes later, after the first squad car arrived, Mr. Floyd was unconscious and pinned beneath three police officers, showing no signs of life. After this huge incident, it started Black Lives Matter movement, and everyone in the world and here in Winnipeg. But why are we just giving such a big notice now when it's been going on for a long time? I sat down with the president and CEO of the Human Rights Museum to talk about the human rights and how Winnipeg is changing for the better. Ms. Isha Khan.
So the Canadian Museum for Human Rights is one of Canada's national museums, and it is the first museum solely dedicated to human rights in the world. So it's a place for learning and understanding, reflection, and is intended to inspire action in the world so that we take responsibility.
Canadian Museum for Human Rights is giving human rights a home, where people learn about human rights and changes made by significant people in our history.
Well, Winnipeg has always been the center of learning and understanding. It's been a gathering place here on ancestral lands in Treaty 1. We know that people have gathered for centuries to dialogue and exchange ideas and trade. Our place is special in terms of our physical location. But the museum itself is it's here so that people can have a place to come and reflect on their ideas about who they are and the rights and protections that were granted in law and whether or not we live those rights. So now more than ever, as the world is thinking about Black Lives Matter, the pandemic, and seeing disproportionate impact on certain groups who don't have the same rights as others or who aren't able to live their rights in the way that we believe they ought to, is the perfect time for people to gather in a place like this and celebrate what we have, but also push ourselves to make it better for our fellow citizens.
But with all the changes in our world and our history, it took a while to make a change for people to notice that things need to change. In 2014, a woman fought against racism with one simple prom dress. We are growing awareness as a community and bringing awareness to the fight at hand. It is taking some time, but Winnipeg is growing awareness to human rights and civic issues here in Winnipeg.
I think all around us, people are demanding more from public institutions, from private companies, just demanding more of each other. And we're tired. We're tired of fighting the fight and not seeing progress. And so I think we're at this pivotal time where a place like the Human Rights Museum can be part of convening that dialogue and creating space for us to have those sometimes difficult conversations, but rallying us towards a goal.
On January 6, 2020, 1,000 Winnipeggers gathered in support of George Floyd and many others who were affected in police brutality. They walked from the Winnipeg legislature to the human rights for the peaceful protests about the changes need to be done so everyone has equal rights.
I think it's interesting that we saw the results. We saw the protests, we saw the news coverage in a way that some had never seen it before. But we know that those issues of inequity, of inequality, have been there for centuries. And so I think Winnipeggers are seeing that there is a collective will to do something, and people are taking responsibility in a way that perhaps they hadn't paid attention to before.
Well, that's it for today's episode of In Focus by U Multicultural. I'm your host, Mark Aaron. Hope you stay safe and have a nice day.